All right, I'm very excited about today's show. I think it was such a no-brainer to have Dan come back for Halloween. Are you a big Halloween guy in general, or not really?
I mean, I think every party is a costume party, so you know.
So you would show up in costume either way?
Why not? Yeah.
Were you a big trick-or-treater back in the day?
Oh, I mean, I'm still a big trick-or-treater. It creeps people out a little bit, but you know.
Yeah.
What are they gonna do about it?
So I was the other thing. I was like running around the neighborhood looking for kids to beat up. So I ran with a different crowd back then. I was running around looking for Michael in his costume. Michael lived across the street. What are you, 8 years younger than me?
Yeah. I was gone.
I mean, why trick-or-treat when you just go take his candy?
Exactly. All right, so I'm gonna have to take this thing off because I think I'm gonna pass out right here. That wouldn't be good for the show.
Let's unveil ourselves.
Let's unveil ourselves. So, in case you weren't sure, it's too much. All right. So first things first, we have to do earnings. This is like the Super Bowl week where everybody big reports, all the big tech names. We just got Amazon after the bell. What's your impression of the earnings reports that we're seeing, not just big tech, but just across the board? Everything seemed pretty good.
I feel like this is Perrier, like with Spaceballs. Like this oxygen feels so good right now.
Yeah,
right?
This is not a suggested way to live.
Every print I've seen has been good, and
the reactions are pretty good.
For the large caps. For the small and mid caps, if you've printed in line, your stocks are down 5 to 30%. It's been pretty vicious.
That's where you play, so that's fun.
It's been a
What's your average market cap?
$4.
Probably like $3 billion.
$3 billion.
Something
Okay.
like that.
So these are the companies that have the most trouble weathering higher labor costs, higher.
Well, it's that, and then the securities are just way less liquid, and they've been underperforming the last like 6-8 weeks, and people are coming into comp season, and nobody has any stomach right now or ability to have stomach. So, and there's no bids. So if you have, you have a company like we're along this company, Turning Point Brands, that makes vapes and things like that, and
that's part of your ESG.
It's in the ESG allocation.
Okay,
and they like missed by $3 million on EBITDA, $3 million.
Yeah.
And they were like, it's going to be Q1 instead of Q4. And then the CEO gets on the call and he says, yeah, actually our data is ahead of that, but we just wanted to be conservative. Okay. Stock was down 23%. The next day, management buys stock and they announce like a $20 million or $50 million buyback. Yeah. I'm like, what happened? And then when you look at the tape.
Imagine getting stopped out of that.
Right. When we look at the tape, somebody sold like 350,000 shares at the open, and then it went completely sideways. So I say there was no activity. You're calling brokers. Is anybody trading this? Nope.
How aware are you in a company that size of who else is in it in size and what they might want to do?
Oh, we track everybody. I mean, we know all the other major shareholders. We're talking to. I still use the phone to trade, which blows people's minds. Yeah. And so, like, I'm calling the high touch guys, being like, "Is anything happening?" And because in these types of names, like when somebody starts blocking into the stock, the float goes away really fast, and these things move. And so, like for small caps. There's kind of three things that move stocks. It's basically attention. Something goes on social media, and these guys rush in. Other people mimic them and front run them. It's like a big return of capital or something like that that gets people's attention. And then kind of the third thing is just these guys getting to a point where they're going to execute their fundamentals, where they're going to get in the indexes. Like the whole trade in small and mid caps now is
get into the Russell.
Right. Can you make the fundamental bridge long enough to get into the index? And basically the way I look at equities right now, if you're like an endowed company, if you're a FANG or whatever, you trade at 3 to 4% free cash flow yield, roughly, maybe less if you're a hypergrowth. And if you're anything else, you're trading at 8 to 12% free cash flow yield. Right. And so if you can figure out when that gap's going to get closed, you make an enormous amount of money. If you see something get kicked out of bucket 1 into bucket 2, very, very painful.
Right, because you lose all your institutional sponsorship getting pulled out of an index.
And they we're now at a point where the majority of the market's passive. And so if you're one of the last remaining mutual fund managers, something like that, you just can't hold an underperforming stock. Like last 6 weeks, I mean, the S&P's up like 6.6%, something like that for the month. Yeah. How do you hold a stock that's down 5% for this month?
It kills you. If you're concentrated, it kills you.
It's insane. And even if you're not concentrated, like when you can increase performance by buying more liquid stocks, you're just like, this is stupid. I'm out.
I mean, right? You look at something like Alphabet. They report like a good quarter, not the greatest quarter ever. Stock goes up $100 like immediately. How do you compete in a marketplace for investors when bucket 1 is made up of the largest stocks in the world, the most liquid, going up the most? It's like
It's insane.
It's insane. And it's been going on for a long time.
And it's getting worse.
So Alphabet. I mean, the thing is though, it's the stocks reflecting just the growth of these companies. It's not even slowing down. It's speeding up. It feels like
YouTube is speeding up.
No, the company's fundamentals are strong. They're getting stronger in some cases, and at the same time, more and more money is going into just kind of buying the S&P or custom. It's more top-down trading than bottom-up trading. So you've got kind of like all the levers going one way, which makes small caps just. I mean, that's just crazy.
So Alphabet, they're about a $2 trillion company now. They're a hair under. Their revenue
$60 billion a quarter
was up 41% year over year, 11% sequential. Google search, their advertising went from $37 billion. Now last year obviously was troubled for companies paying advertisers, from $37 billion up to $53 billion. They're returning cash like mad. $12.6 billion buyback in the last 3 months. The cloud has grown 45%. There's over 2 million creators on YouTube now making money. But what's interesting is that YouTube advertising is kind of small. Their revenue was $7.2 billion. It's $30 billion overall for the year. Facebook advertising was $30 billion last quarter. So So the point is there might still be a lot of room to run. Yep. YouTube did $30 billion last year. Facebook did $30 billion last quarter.
Oh, there's plenty of room. I think that's one of the primary drivers of the stock. And the cloud business, which it's unlike Google to be a distant third in anything they do. But the cloud business, they were late. But that's now catching up.
It's grown 45%.
That's insane growth for something that's not tiny.
It's $5 billion. So tiny for them, but massive.
They're not accustomed to running behind in anything that they're doing, and they're not going to stay that way for a long time. The YouTube advertising thing I think is interesting. It's probably not as good of an ad product as what Facebook is doing because Facebook knows the user better. But I have to believe if Google sees you watch 12 videos a week, they know who you are. They know what advertisers should be put.
You know what I think is different though? When you're scrolling on Instagram and you see an ad that's targeted to you, like I do all the time, I click on it. I've never once in my life clicked on a YouTube ad. I always skip.
Oh, skip ad after 5 seconds?
So I just think there's a big difference between video ads and like in scrolling app ads. I think that's why Instagram's way more effective.
Instagram ads, I've never clicked on a Facebook ad, but I've clicked on Instagram ads.
Same.
I don't know why Instagram seems to have much better.
They have your number. They know exactly what you want.
The Facebook ads also just seem to be trash. It's just like, do you want this commemorative gold coin?
You mean the meta ads?
Sorry, yes, that's right, the meta ads.
What are you doing on Facebook that they're showing you commemorative coins?
Well, what are you doing on Facebook at all, you sick
What are you doing on Facebook? Full stop.
I have for a long time schemed to one day launch a commemorative gold coin company because I just think that's how you know you've made it in American society. Is when you have a Fox News ad for a commemorative gold coin, a limited edition. That's how you know you've made it.
You know why you're uniquely situated for a gold coin? Because you could grow out the mustache. You need the mustache.
Yeah. Yes.
Tom Selleck is on the coin.
Keith Hernandez.
Keith is on the coin. How does Microsoft keep doing this? Do you even understand what's going on? I mean, I know it's cloud, obviously, but this is another is it $2 trillion or more?
They're more. They're like 2.5.
Where is this coming from?
Remember when $1 trillion was a lot of money for market cap?
How do they keep doing this? Tell me what's going on here.
All right, cloud revenue, $20 billion, up 36% year over year. Look at this financial summary. So the gross margins on this business are 70%, operating income 45%. Again, returning cash like mad. $6.2 billion in repurchases, $4.7 billion in dividends. That's up 14% year over year.
$6 billion in repurchases for the quarter.
What's that?
For the quarter.
For the quarter. Even LinkedIn revenue is growing 42%. How, Sway?
LinkedIn ads are actually pretty effective.
You remember when Elliot took that battleship or something from Argentina and sued them? I think Microsoft is secretly taking over entire countries.
They're
in
big,
the debt market or something.
They're big enough that they could if they wanted to.
But these companies are so dominant.
Yeah. So all right. So Facebook, a little bit of a different story, and now they're having like a midlife crisis, which makes sense. What are they? 13 years old? Facebook. 14 years old?
No, way longer.
So in Silicon Valley years, they're like 35 years old or 40 years old.
I think they were like from 02 or something, but as a public company.
07, 06, 07.
No way.
Yes, why? Not 02.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. I'm getting my graduation wrong.
So what do we think about the name change to like? Is this the ultimate? I mean, Google did it.
Did you guys see
Nobody
the
made fun
Did you
of
guys
them.
see the video?
I watched the video.
Did you see the video?
No.
John, throw this up.
Why was there a video?
Just watch
Zuck
it.
looks tan. I
me
mean,
see.
say what you will about the guy. The guy's
So
got a tan.
this is. I mean, obviously Zuck runs a company, but
I think they're terrified.
who saw that video and said, "Let's run with it. Let's run it. Yep, let's do it. This is what we need to do." You got it, John?
Do you think anyone's approving anything? You think anyone's disapproving anything that he wants to do?
No, that's what I'm saying. It's
Not a chance.
it's all him.
All right. Let's see how ridiculous this is. You watch this already?
Oh yeah, it's like 45 minutes.
We'll just watch half of it.
Wait, can we
One
pause?
for our
Where the
family
fuck is
apps,
he?
and one for our work on
Oh, he's
future
gonna address
platforms.
that.
Is that a hotel room?
And as part of this, it is time for us to adopt a new company brand to encompass everything that we do. To reflect who we are and what we hope to build, I am proud to announce that starting today, our company is now Meta. Our mission remains the same. It's still about bringing people together.
Come on.
Our apps and their brands, they're not changing either. And we are still the company that designs technology around people. But now we have a new North Star to help bring the metaverse to life. And we have a new name that reflects the full breadth
Stop, I can't.
of what we
He,
see.
he just put like
And the
half of
future that
SNL's
we'll
writing
build.
room out of work.
Wait, but what is the
Yeah.
background? Is it, you're going to tell me it's virtual?
We're going to be metaverse.
Yeah, everything he kept being like, I'm not actually in a room right now. I'm in. He basically was bragging that he was deep faking people throughout the whole thing. He's like, it looks like I'm in a room and it looks like this is me, but actually this is not a real person.
I'm in your room.
He looks like Mark. He looks like Mark.
I'm watching you right now.
He looks like Mark Davis, the owner of the Raiders, with that freaking ridiculous haircut. Here's what I'll say about
I don't hate it as much as I
whatever. I don't
hate
even,
it.
I don't even care. But they have 3 billion users. Call it 2 billion users, whatever the real number is. $1 trillion, $800 billion market cap, and they're changing their name to Meta, and they're going all in on the metaverse. We can talk all the shit you want about the metaverse. Like, this is a big deal for that.
And he said they're
for
going
that
to spend
space.
$35 billion in capex on stuff.
Servers.
And I was like,
Software.
Hey, the first question I was like, where are you going to spend that money? And they're like, places.
Can I tell you where? NVIDIA chips.
Probably. Yeah.
NVIDIA software and chips and the whole package. It's the only way. AMD and NVIDIA are the only way to build any of this shit. And like that's where the money's gonna go. I don't hate this that much because I think they're scared and I think that they know they're losing young people. And they also know young people are really into the metaverse and living a whole different life online.
I think they just did mushrooms and watched like Ready Player One.
You think this is crazy?
I'm just watching it. I'm like I have one of the Oculus headsets. I've used it. Like I used it for like 2 weeks. It was cool. The coolest thing about it is you can put
I know what you're
grandma
doing
and
with that.
grandpa. You can put grandma and grandpa in it, and they can go skydiving and stuff, and that's really cool. But like, I'm watching the whole thing, and I'm like, who is ever going to do this? He's like sitting there. You're going to have everybody in headsets having virtual full body meetings wearing headsets, and I was like, you
So
couldn't put a
did-
gun to my head, get me to do that.
Did you hear what the kid from Snap said?
What did he
He's
say?
like totally thinks that this is the worst move possible because he's like, people don't want to live in a fake online environment. What they actually want is augmented reality.
Yeah, I agree with that.
They want their real reality, but with some
Yeah.
augmentation.
But with comment sections.
with comment sections.
Like,
No,
this
th-
is like Black Mirror.
Everybody wants a comment section until they get a comment section for the first time.
Or until the comment section's talking about them.
Right. Yeah. No. Yeah.
Then
The
you definitely don't want it.
Yeah. The first time you get one, you're like, I didn't know that about myself.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
Yeah. It's brutal.
So the snap bet is like people just going to want to see the world and then have buttons they could push to do things or get information about buildings as they walk past or walk through an airline terminal and be told like how many more feet until the gate.
How long do I have to wait for my McGriddle?
But how many hundreds of millions of boomers are going to be like, wait, what's the metaverse? Are going to be first hearing about that
He doesn't
tonight?
care about them anymore. He has them.
No, my point is, this is a big deal for the metaverse. Like, this is going to be
Yes.
in USA Today on Good Morning America. Like, this is a big deal.
But my point is like, to what end? Like, it's
I don't
not
know.
like the hardware is not there. Like, that's what I don't understand about what he's doing.
He's
is I'm
saying
like,
that. He's saying we're not going to make any money from this for 10 years.
I just want to see a platform. Is he telling everybody to buy an Oculus? Is he gonna? I know he did the Ray-Ban
No. All right.
glasses. Like, what is? You
All
know,
right, so this is why I'm somewhat bullish. I will become more bullish. 2 reasons. Number one, did you watch Star Trek: The Next Generation?
Yes.
Okay, come on.
Holodeck?
How sick?
I mean, I want it.
I know we don't have
where
it.
is
I
it?
understand.
Wait, I'm not a giant loser, so fill me in.
Okay, so Michael was into girls. You and I were into Patrick Stewart.
Right.
The holodeck is a simulator where they could basically create an artificial world so that they could do training, or I guess they could have cool guest stars on the show.
Oh, wait. Have
Like
you
in
been to the Void?
No.
Okay, the next time, I think they have one in New York, but there's one in Vegas. Next time either of you in Vegas, go to the Void. They have this
Is
Star
that near
Wars
Spearmint Rhino?
thing. Probably.
Okay.
But they took this entire area of a casino, basically built a maze out of concrete and stuff, and you put on not just a VR headset, but this whole haptic suit.
Yeah.
And you get to go through a little Star Wars movie, and like there's like hot lava, and it smells like hot lava, and it's hot, and when you touch it, it squishes.
Okay, I'm
And
all
when you
in.
get hit with a
that
laser
sounds like
beam,
so
it
much
hits
fun.
you.
Dude, I'm into that.
It was awesome.
All right, so Star Trek: The Next Generation, similar to Westworld on HBO, just this idea that you could be in an artificial world that feels real to you. And obviously you're going to have to wear a lot of clunky equipment now, but 10 years from now, who's to say that you would? So that's thing number one.
This is coming, right? Like
100%.
something. I don't know what this is, but
100% Disney. You don't think Disney is going to metaverse the shit out of all of their
I can't wait to live in Disney's metaverse. I want to feel like a child again. I love Disney
Could
World.
you imagine, like,
It's gonna get so creepy.
it's going to get crazy.
You're gonna have a bunch of 50-year-old dudes being Jasmine from Aladdin. Your kid's gonna be like, "Where's Iago?" And it's gonna be terrible.
Think about all the possibilities for Hollywood and entertainment. If movies are the past and the future is you just come into this world that we've created. And some people will do it really shitty, and some people will do it an amazing job.
Yeah, Disney's there.
All right, let me pitch you a stock. It's called Immersion Corp, IMMR. Do you have a pen handy? I'll give you some of the details. This is the company with the patents for haptic everything. So every time
I don't know what haptic means.
when your watch wants to alert you to something,
Yeah.
a little buzz,
Uh-huh.
when you're driving in a car and you're
Right.
getting too close to the left lane and the left side of your ass buzzes, that's haptic technology.
Okay.
So that's computers making you feel things,
They have a monopoly on vibrators.
basically.
Okay.
But for adults.
Got it.
Anyway, the stock went up 11.6% today. And I have to believe that there's going to be some haptic bullishness coming from all these metaverse announcements that you just know are right around the corner.
I'm gonna start using that in memos. Haptic bullishness. We're
Haptic
anticipating
bullishness.
haptic bullishness.
Don't you think
The
Robinhood
company generates a majority of its revenue from North Korea.
don't you think don't you think Robinhood would love to shock you if you haven't traded for an hour? Like
I think they're probably trying to.
Like, hey,
Yeah.
fuck stick, let's go.
Right.
Why are you holding on to these stocks when you could be trading them? I'm trying to take this seriously, and I do think that it's a big deal. I agree with you. Have we talked enough about the metaverse?
For now.
Anything,
Yeah,
anything
move on.
left to say?
No.
I think I was about to say one other thing, but I forgot what it was. We'll see
Well,
if I
Dan,
I
remember.
mean, I think it's absolutely happening. But the issue with the metaverse is that like he didn't really say anything. He just showed a bunch of
Right.
pretty VR like
exactly.
But there's nothing.
Like
there's nothing.
cartoons?
There's nothing there. They're going to build it, or they're gonna be a part of it. They're not going to build the metaverse. They'll be a part of it.
You know where boomers?
They're not
were-
gonna own the metaverse.
Actually, here's the main reason I'm a little bit mad about the presentation is I don't want the first iteration of this to be we're going to have meetings in the metaverse. Literally any other use case I'm into, but the idea that like the three of us are going to do this from pods with I'm like no, I have no interest in that.
Can I give you a great use case? I'm stealing this from Portlandia. There was a skit where they really want to go to this like festival concert, like a Lollapalooza kind of thing, but it sucks so much when you're actually there.
Right.
It's like bugs.
They actually already have that for Oculus.
and crap. Right. So just put the helmet on and you're at Lollapalooza, and anytime you want to take the helmet off for a few minutes, go to the bathroom like a human being.
Yeah.
You could pull it, right? That seems to me to be a pretty obvious use case.
All right, let's move on to the next session. Dan, I want to kick this off with something you tweeted in August. If you could dodge a edge, you could dodge a ball. The great Patches O'Houlihan, CFA. I'm managing long short risk.
Yep.
And then you tweeted, seriously, every day you get a different text that says, holy shit, did you hear ridiculously smart person firm just lost massive amount of money because of totally insane thing that doesn't show up in the indexes at all?
Yeah. Daily.
What are these things?
It's just, did you hear that, there's a peanut butter manufacturer in South Korea that's up 2,000% today and just like KO'd the best long short manager in Hong Kong? You'll get it just completely batshit nonsense. I mean, obviously you had the AMCs, this other stuff. But even beyond that, you're having these like weird niche scenarios where these guys, who are, a lot of these institutional long short shops, what they're trying to do is run like 100 long positions, 100 short positions.
Yeah.
Not even concentrated guys. And, they're trying to basically take high volatility securities, mix it all together and get this low volatility bond-like thing. And this has just completely broken their models. And
why? Because you get something that's trading at $2 that goes to $200.
Because it turns out you can't actually predict like the correlation, the liquidity, any of these like the things that are supposed to be stable about making those bets, or they need to be within a certain range in order for you to like have a reasonable thing. They're just not working. And a lot of these guys just kind of think, it's about having a spread between your longs and your shorts. But, I think we were talking about before we went on camera, like, Robinhood stock's unlocking in a week. And so, people are on Twitter saying you want to short Robinhood stock into the insiders being able to sell shares.
Too obvious.
And I called around today, and there is no borrow at any of the major primes. So even if you're a big boy trader, there's nothing out there, and you really don't want to call in a favor to get, some people will probably be listening to this going, well, can't you like pull a string and get some borrow? It's like, yeah, but you don't want to do that.
Why can't you use the options?
Well, if the borrow, part of the reason the borrow is not there is that people are going to be using that to trade against options, and they're running all sorts of, and so the options chain, I'm sure, is just absolute madness. And so you go look in, and there's just, basically these are all just coiled springs. And if the stock doesn't collapse the next week, it's going to go to the moon because all these guys got to cover all their shorts.
But don't you think, so that maybe this is me being naive, don't you think the people that are short the stock all understand this anyway?
No disrespect to anybody, but this is something that like they academically know it, and then they cannot help themselves.
They don't think it'll happen to them.
Right. Or they're like, the answer will change based on what's hurting them at the time. So it's I have a longer term view on the business. A lot of times people lose and then they go, well, you can't time stocks. And I'm like, well, that's not really true. You can tell when it's a really abnormally risky scenario.
Can you imagine what will be going on Reddit if there's a short squeeze in Robinhood that takes out some name brand hedge funds?
And weirdly,
can you
if that were to happen,
I'm going to buy Robinhood tomorrow.
Here's the crazy thing. Imagine we wake up on Monday or whatever, and Robinhood's up 100%, something crazy.
Right.
That's actually going to drive a lot of trading behavior. It's going to drive a lot of people to Robinhood. It will actually help the business.
I'm buying Robinhood on Robinhood right now.
Dude, there's nothing more meta
Not a recommendation.
than a Robinhood short squeeze being driven by traders on Robinhood.
And causing more people to go to Robinhood and actually driving
The only
revenues.
thing that would make that more meta is if fucking Kevin Costner logs in costume and is shorting Robinhood on Robinhood. Like, I don't know how you get more meta than this.
It's insane. So,
Is Vlad smart enough to stoke this and make it happen? What are you doing?
What's in Robinhood?
You bought Robinhood post close in the aftermarket, or you put in an order for tomorrow
Welcome
morning?
to the metaverse, bro.
All right, fine. This podcast is going to come out before the open, so
I don't know anything about Vlad, but people are smart enough. People have figured this out. It's not.
You think they had the SEC breathing down their backs, breathing down their necks in January? If there's a Robinhood short squeeze and anyone thinks that anyone at Robinhood is at all either aware of it in advance or involved in driving it, that's a big deal.
The problem is with like a lot of these, whatever we're going to call some of these companies right now, they are so kind of high on their own supply that not only are people engineering little schemes for their stocks, but then they're dumb enough to do something like, I'm going to go buy 25 grand of call options.
Yeah, you caught
and
immediately.
It's like the Matt Levine rule, like, if you were going to inside your trade, don't do it this way.
Don't use options.
It's like, and you look in there, like a billionaire just risked their, like, everything for, 400 grand in short-term options profits. Like, there's just, it's just crazy.
It's the easiest thing on earth to be watched.
Right.
Options trading. And when you see somebody make an outsized bet, especially if they've never done it before,
right,
there's nothing to talk about. Right. So, all right, why are we talking about Robinhood again?
Oh, because you're talking about how, every day I'm getting a text. It's like, did you hear about how
well, I don't know why, but now I'm bullish.
We're not getting we're not getting those texts. We're getting texts like so and so just sold their company for for $900 million. And I would say they're coming in weekly at this point.
That's amazing.
And I would love to say
Good
it's
for
a
them.
contrary indicator, but it probably isn't. Like, this is probably just going to continue.
Because those people, what are they going to do with the $900 million?
Well,
They're
well-
going
They're
to
going to go fund some other company.
Well,
Yeah.
Elon's worth $300 billion, so
Yeah, I mean,
Tesla hit $1 trillion in market cap this week. Pretty impressive. No?
so
Worth more than every automaker in the world combined.
all right. Here's what I got to say about this. I mean, what is left to say? Where the hell? Why some of my Slack's not working? Sorry, talk amongst yourselves.
we have a new term for like things like Tesla right now. We call them disassociative valuations. It's like when you start talking about people who have so much money that you can't even understand it.
Yeah.
And like, especially when it's just mostly opinion based.
Yeah.
It's a disassociative valuation. It's like we've gone past we're past played,
Right.
and now we're into just
Right.
something where I just don't even understand.
Dude, this guy is worth $250 billion personally.
No, 300.
Oh, fine.
So
Fine.
Lee Drogan tweeted, "This is, I don't even know what to do with this." He said, "Good luck keeping business schools kids' attention for quote asset pricing theory class. Might
Yeah.
as well just rip up the textbooks." So like honestly, kids going
That
into
sounds mad toppy. I'm just going to be honest with you.
kids going into business school, kids that are in business school learning about the dividend discount model or whatever they're learning about.
Right.
How do you do that with a straight face right now?
They should teach it like it's fables. They should teach like
My
fairy
honest
tales.
take is that people started ringing the top bell in like
2013,
13, 14.
13.
And I remember in 15 when SaaS companies were wildly expensive at 5 times sales. Remember that?
Yeah, what are they now? 40?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now it's just boy who cried wolf. Like I don't know what you say. And also the companies have delivered. That's the other thing that's been crazy is everybody went back when they went to Michael Mauboussin like base rate stuff. They're like this many companies grew revenue this fast for 10 years, and so they know it'll happen. And then the software companies went, okay, and they just went and did it.
Yeah.
It's like having 50 LeBrons come into the NBA at the same time.
Yeah.
It's just
That's a good
nuts.
analogy. Josh, we were in 2013, there was somebody, we don't need to name names. There was somebody who had been bearish for a long time. In 2013, they were bearish for a long time.
Jeffrey Epstein.
And this person wrote something like, "This market reeks of euphoria," or reeks of fumes fueled by euphoria, whatever. That was
You
like
hate this guy. I know
that was a long time ago.
Right.
A long time ago.
The unicorn cover for Fortune, which I think was the coming out party for this whole thing,
17.
where they said there are 40 companies in Silicon Valley worth $1 billion
Right.
pre-IPO.
Isn't that adorable now?
It's like 4,000 now.
billion?
It's $1 billion, right? Now there are a deck of unicorns everywhere you look.
There are probably 40 that have been started this year that are
that
already
are
worth more
already
than
$1 billion. That are raising money at $1 billion in their first couple of rounds.
Yeah.
Right. But so at that moment, people held the physical cover of that magazine up and
Right.
waved it around
Yeah.
and said, if this isn't the top, what is?
Okay, this is
And then the universe said, oh, yeah,
Oh, there it is.
motherfucker, stay tuned.
Right.
John,
Yeah.
throw up that.
What year is this? Is this 13 or 14?
No.
What do you mean, no? I'm pretty
Is
sure
it?
it is.
I thought it was like 17. What
No,
year is
dude.
this?
When's it? Hold on. I'm gonna look this up on Facebook.
Okay.
So here's my metaverse take. I think the metaverse part of the market, the market and the media combined are basically becoming what I'm calling the infinite gaslighting machine because
Time out.
it's
January 2015.
2015.
That's so long ago.
So long. It's 6 years ago. I mean, and it's all right. Go ahead.
It really seems like the combination of asset prices and the media are sort of coming together to just drive the most people insane it can. Like it's just breaking people's brains. I mean, it's insane. Like I've never seen anything like it.
So the other thing that's going on is that we are constantly being made aware
Right.
of all of these fundings and financings in
And
a
we're
way
so
that I don't think
desensitized.
used to
Right.
exist.
Right.
Like we're getting I got an alert on my phone how much money Nas made in an IPO.
Right.
And I just said, what the fuck is this?
You see that
It
Shiba
was from
wallet?
TMZ. It was not from Wall Street Journal.
Right.
So TMZ is broadcasting the billions of dollars that athletes and rappers are making in startups. That was not the case, I don't think, ever.
Well, because they weren't making millions in startups
It's like billions now.
or whatever.
It's crazy.
So Dan, that wallet, what was that Shiba wallet went
There
from?
was like something where it was like somebody bought like a few $1,000s of Shiba coin a year ago, and now that wallet apparently has like $5 or $6 billion at market.
Here it is. This wallet bought 8,000 of SHIB last August. It's now worth 5.7 billion. This is from Morning Brew. From 8,000 to 5.7 billion in roughly 400 days, we may actually be looking at the greatest individual trade of all time.
What?
8,000 to 5.7 billion.
And we know that person didn't sell any?
No, because you see.
Yeah, well, the wallet hasn't. Yeah.
Yeah, you see the wallet.
Oh, my God.
You know that's like a USB that like that guy lost on a bus somewhere. It's like probably it's probably in a landfill.
I hope it's lost.
But you know what's funny?
I'm sorry. I really do.
These numbers are so ridiculous. So 8,000 to 5.7 billion. Would we be any less in awe if it was 8,000 to 100 million? I'd have the same reaction.
It would be right.
What's the difference?
Either
100 million,
But again,
6
this
billion?
is disassociative valuation.
I'm not phased.
What is the difference between 100 million, a billion, 6 billion,
It's the same number.
2 trillion?
It's all the same number to me. Throw up this Tesla chart with last yearly revenue.
I mean, Tesla got what? Like it was like a $4 billion order, and their market cap went up 100
All right, this is important.
billion.
So last yearly revenue before reaching $1 trillion valuation.
So what are we seeing here?
So awesome.
This is crazy, right?
So we're seeing Facebook, Microsoft, Alphabet, Amazon, and
So
Apple.
all right, so what this is saying, Apple did 228 billion before it became $1 trillion company in August of 2018.
Can you imagine how stupid Tim Cook feels for making
Right.
that much money and only having $1 trillion market cap?
Right. Amazon had to do 177 billion before becoming $1 trillion a week after that. Alphabet had to do 161 billion before becoming $1 trillion in January 2020. Fast forward to today, Tesla's last yearly revenue was 31.5 billion, and it's already at $1 trillion.
So guess these numbers keep going down. What's the next company? Shopify is going to reach $1 trillion at 14 billion.
What's it called?
Nvidia.
I think Nvidia's 600 billion.
What
And
revenue
the stock
are they
goes up
doing?
every day. They're doing a lot. They're doing a lot of revenue. It's much. I think it's. Wait, maybe it's not. Maybe it's not much more
Take a
than
guess.
Tesla.
What did they do in the last 12 months?
I don't know. I've only owned the stock for 7 years. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what the number is.
Let's see. Yeah, you have owned that stock for a long time.
So yes, the distance between, or the difference between revenue and market cap just doesn't matter anymore.
22 billion.
No. Why
22
would it matter?
It doesn't matter. 22 billion. So they're on track.
They're on track. They'll,
You know,
God willing, they'll get there. They'll get there if
you know
this
what's going to be
metaverse
$1
shit
trillion
is real.
company is the Texas Roadhouse, which is public for some reason.
What's
Yeah,
the
Texas Roadhouse.
Is that
Have you been to the Texas
is that a
Roadhouse?
They're going to
steakhouse?
do delivery.
They,
Wait, I don't know about this. What is this?
The Texas Roadhouse is like a cult following. Imagine like it's basically Outback Steakhouse, but better probably, but no bloomin' onion, so it's puts and takes.
Is this the
Oh,
one
I went to one in
where
Arizona, I think.
Yeah, people are like when COVID happened, people waited in like 50, 60 car lines to pick up like make at home steak kits from them. It's a cult. It's actually pretty decent.
Is this
but,
the
like,
one where the waitresses, what is that called? What's the country music dancing called?
square dance?
Yeah, but not that. The other line dance.
Line dance?
Is that this one?
I
ate
don't-
at one of these. I
I
think.
don't know if there's a line dancing. There are peanuts everywhere, I think.
What were we talking about?
I mean,
oh,
where is it? Probably got you know,
What is this? Texas
50,
Roadhouse.
60x off the bottom here.
yeah. So that could be the next $1 trillion.
That could be, yeah.
There will never
Why
be.
not?
There will never be a restaurant stock that I can't imagine it. Like, what's McDonald's market cap? That's got to be the
Sweetgreen's
biggest.
going public. That could be $1 trillion.
McDonald's, what, 300? I don't know.
No, I think it's.
I mean, the real question you have to ask if you're at Columbia right now is why can't this be $1 trillion company?
right. Why could it? Right. That's what we were saying. We were saying the other night. Like, what's the takeaway from Tesla becoming $1 trillion?
Right.
The takeaway is like broaden your imagination of what might
I
be
mean,
possible.
if people are coming out and saying a certain company can't be $1 trillion company, we need to cancel those people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's discriminatory.
That's that's the same argument as, do you know how much competition X is going to have?
Right.
That never works in your favor when
No.
that's what you're worried about. All right, we did this metaverse thing already. We're not going to go back to that, right? Can we skip to? Oh, I
Please
remember
no.
what I wanted. Who cares? Let's go to the stablecoin thing. So, do you have like a strong view of what's going to happen here? There's a ton of money in these things, and no one is regulating them yet. How much longer can this go on for?
I mean, I think that the regulator's job is to protect investors, right?
Yeah.
And the problem is they're now so slow that enough investors are getting into stuff where if they were to clamp down on it, they
would
would
hurt
net
everybody.
hurt investors.
That's right.
And the VCs figured this out, and that's why half the successful models in the last 10 years are blatantly illegal in a strict legal sense. And so I think crypto is now at this point where
That's the Uber method.
Right. Or Airbnb or
do it until they can't undo it.
Oh, you have zoning laws? F you.
Yeah. Licensing requirements?
Right.
LOL.
Yeah,
right.
no, stream it. So licensing, safety, no. We're just gonna have a $400 cleaning charge.
Right.
There's $100 billion in Tether and USDC.
Right, and we have no idea what that is or if it's there or anything like that. And so we're in this kind of Twilight Zone scenario where you can't shut that down.
Okay, so Gary Gensler, I think, has successfully lobbied Treasury and Congress, and he's going to take over oversight of stablecoins. Like, I think that's a done deal. Whether or not banking regulators want in on that, somebody is going to start looking at this stuff.
Right.
We could see spectacular blow-ups there. Like, we could see arrests.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's
too much money.
Right.
But to your point, they're not going to go away because.
But then the other question is, like, what does it mean for banking regulation if, like, why would I start a bank right now when I can create a coin thingy on an island and I can basically run a bank with the same amount of money that I'd have as a bank?
Right.
Somebody explains it to me, and I don't know, I'm over my skis here, but somebody said the reason why there's so much demand for stablecoins is because in a bull market, people want the stablecoins for leverage.
Right.
And in a bear market, when they're getting liquidated, they go into stablecoins. They're not coming out of.
Doesn't that sound too cute though?
No, they're not. There's an overwhelming demand for cash in the system, and when I say cash, I mean stablecoins. They're not leaving the blockchain and going into USD. They're staying in the system, and that's where the stablecoins come in.
Do you think if there was a genuine economic downturn that free money from the Fed couldn't counteract? Like if we just had like a 6 or 12-month recession, old school recession, do you think that those dollars would not come out of stablecoins and go into people's like actual USD? Or have we?
You mean like if people like needed money for like real world things?
I
actually have to eat with the money.
I think there's a big disconnect between crypto money and real world money.
Yes. You know what fixes that? Crypto bill pay. Who's working on that? Whoever's doing that, I feel that would probably be the killer app.
The daily pay is going to be in stablecoins. The daily pay stuff.
You think so?
I think so.
It is like
where you work all day and they pay you at 5 o'clock?
Like instantaneously.
They're going to pay you
That's
in
another
Tether?
thing. Super, super regulatorily. Like if the rules were enforced, never going to happen.
What?
Like the AML rules, like
there are no rules.
Taxes, things like that. Right. But so if there were rules, it would be impossible. But yeah, go for it. I mean,
what rule?
company.
Right. What rule applies to any of this? Like they have to write new rules. That's the problem. They think that their existing rules cover this, but these people are light years ahead of the way the regulations were written.
Can I give somebody a W-2 that the consideration is Ether? Like,
let's build
how does that work?
Let's build it.
I mean, it's coming. All of this is coming.
It's gonna be $1 trillion company.
Let's fund it. All right. I do think though that when people can actually pay bills with crypto, they will, and that will lead. I think.
Oh, Warden
okay, question.
Warden
how
just
much?
Said, sorry.
How much of that whole direction of the future is really just how bad Wells Fargo user interface and experience is?
Can I tell you?
Terrible.
Can I tell you literally a true story?
Yeah.
This happened yesterday. I'm still astonished by this, but this is the way it works. I have American Express account my whole life, personal account.
Right.
We have an American Express for Ritholtz Wealth, for the business. I want to remove myself as like the thing that the business's credit is built on.
Right.
The business now has an 8-year history. It's like enough already. So I'm going to move American Express for Ritholtz Wealth onto the firm.
Right.
Literally, they have to make my card inactive, my physical card. They have to send a new card to my CFO.
Right.
The CFO will not receive that for 3 to 5 days. And then he has to apply to make me a secondary holder, which is another 3 to 5 days. So I'm going to go 10 days without a corporate credit card because that's just how American Express does things.
Right.
This is not a commercial for American Express. Everybody involved in this should be embarrassed.
Well, can I give a counterpoint? Amex.
That's why. But let me just finish. That's why we're just going to do everything in Shiba Inu. going
Well,
forward.
here's a counterpoint. Amex CEO says crypto is unlikely a threat to traditional credit cards. So there, he said it.
Well, it must be true
It's a
then.
fact.
It must be true. The MasterCard deal with, who do they make a deal with where they're going to...
I thought they should
Paxos.
you can do any crypto or something. I don't know who the deal
Backed.
is.
Mastercard?
No, with Backed. Yeah.
Okay.
MasterCard and Backed just did something with crypto.
So this came out today. Something with whatever. This came out today. UPenn's Warden taps Coinbase to accept crypto for online blockchain course.
Wait, what do you mean?
Warden accepts crypto payments for blockchain program tuition fees.
Who's Warden?
The business school at Penn.
Oh.
That's a big deal.
Oh, so you can actually. So you know what's funny about that? If you were smart enough to have enough crypto to pay for business school, you probably don't need it.
Yeah.
Like
I'd love to see the Venn diagram.
Like it's probably unnecessary. Oh, who is the person that has $500,000 worth of crypto that's attending business school?
I really
Penn?
do think this distortion of the people in crypto that are so rich is going to have like really weird outcomes and consequences.
Wait till they start backing political campaigns. Like,
It's happened. That's happening.
That's already happening. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait till it becomes apparent who their candidates are. That should
The
be
Island
fun.
Boys are going to be the Fed governor from Minnesota.
Please don't talk about the Island
Sorry.
Boys. I can't. I literally can't handle it.